Alright guys, welcome back to the Marvel Snap video. So they've just shown the Fantastic Four first step season. We have a bunch of new cards we can talk about alongside the new game mode, which actually looks kind of crazy with a bunch of new spells of your champion hero that you can select, and you can get like a special Council of Reeds ability, which is just exclusive towards that game, which actually looks like one of the better or maybe more enjoyable actual limited time game modes. Hopefully the rewards aren't as bad as High Voltage, right? But we'll see. But today we're going to break down all the new cards coming in and which ones you should be buying alongside what I'll be buying if I was a little bit more of a free-to-play person or someone that wasn't making content where I have to do to get every single card. But let's start off with the first card, Mr. Fantastic. We finally have a usable Mr. Fantastic. I say usable. The last one was kind of usable, but after he got buffed a while ago. But as a Mr. Phantom main on Marvel Rivals, we are going to be putting this guy in most of our decks. So he will be a season pass card, so it will cost money for the first month, going in towards August, or what you could basically say Fantastic Four First Step Part 2, because it's going to be Galactus and Silver Surfer from the movie alongside Galactus as heralds. You will be able to pick this card up for obviously 5k or 6k if you buy outright 5k if you want to wait towards the Collector Series 5 packs. Look, if you've been using Surge, if you like Surge, then this card is... It's a different version of Surge, right? Right now, one big problem since the Zabu changed a very long time ago is, and we've all played it, right? Whenever you have Zabu and Surge in your hand, or your deck, sorry, right? And you start a game, the amount of times where I start with all my forecasts in hand, there's no way to cheat them out unless you obviously want to bring like Starlock, for example, which you're typically not doing for those type of decks. Mr. Fantastic, granted a little more RNG, you can play him on 2, and if you get lucky, you can get the minus cost on your important forecast card that you can then obviously keep as well, or you can get the +2, so you can then play, of course, what the big thing and why you kind of used to use OG Zabu in the day was to play the 4 or 2 forecasts at the cost of 3 on turn 6. While Surge is still a little bit better in the sense of getting the minus cost plus the 1 power, obviously Mr. Fantastic is doing either or +2 or the -1. Surge, we definitely once again had that tie in a little bit. Maybe if you built your deck kind of wrong a little bit, where you pull out Shang-Chi, but you want to play Shang-Chi in the final turn, so you can't continue the Surge effect. So that can be kind of annoying a little bit for Surge. With this one, you know, if you get him on turn 2, you're going to be able to get some bonus effects going off until the end of the game, basically, whether that be minus or plus cost. You can definitely build your deck around it. So I think for me, Mr. Fantastic is a must buy. It's a season pass card, even regardless of what the actual card actually does. I think most people should be buying a season pass anyway, because that is just like a no-brainer thing to do. You get the best value in the game. Plus, now talking about the next card coming out, a lot of them all synergize and in theory want to be used with Mr. Fantastic. So if you ideally want to be opening and picking up the cards coming next, then you kind of want to have Mr. Fantastic alongside of them. So the next card coming out is gonna be Herby, which in theory doesn't really want to get the buffs of Mr. Fantastic other than getting the one of the activates you'll see in a second. So the way this card works is his Series 5 cards drop in the first week. Honestly, he got buffed recently. I think he got a few changes in the recent data mine, which actually made him a lot better, because this guy I think is actually kind of cracked now actually. So what he does do, the 2/3 activate at the start of the turn, I believe. His activate ability will change between one of the 4, and all the activate abilities are kind of representing what the actual OG Fantastic Four cards kind of used to do. I kind of think of him as Nico, but for activate. That's the best way to think about him. So the first activate ability is give 2 of your cards at each other location +1. I think before it might have been adjacent, but now it's just 2 other locations. So no matter what, as long as you have 2 cards at each location that he is not in, he's going to get +1, making him, well, +4, so making him a 2/7, which is very, very valuable. Plus, you're typically likely playing him alongside cards that want to get buffed up. The next one is activate. Next turn, you gain 2+ energy. Remember, it is an activate, so you got to play him on turn 2, and then probably likely activate on turn 3 to get the buff on turn 4. So turn 4, you will have 6 energy to play a big 6-cost card. I don't think this one's going to be like too crazy. This one will be more like, okay, you don't mind the energy, you'll take it, because you can see maybe you have Mr. Fantastic or on your deck, and you see you can play things earlier. Maybe you got 2 hits on the -4 cost cards to where you can play some big combo stuff. So that's probably going to be maybe not the weaker one, but I don't think you're going to build your deck around it, because a little bit unreliable. You know, you might get this last in a rotation, and if you want to cheat stuff out earlier, there are just better things to be doing, but I don't think you're going to mind this one too much. Next one is activate. Create a rocket, set its cost of 4 power. This one is Gonna work with, I think, some other synergy stuff, right? Like just using, I think, well, like Patriot, for example, you can get a big cost. Strange Supreme, if this is literally the final turn of the game, you're on turn 6, and it's the only one you have, then at least you can know. You can get some points in that lane without actually playing a card there, so that could be kind of nice too. And then, of course, we have this one here, which is gonna be doubling the card's power, which is literally just OG Human Torch's ability. So, like, you kind of get the idea, right? This is Human Torch. This is the thing, because you're making a rock a little bit. The energy, I guess, is meant to be Invisible Woman. And in this one, which was before meant to be like adjacent locations, is meant to be the OG Mr. Fantastic. So that's kind of what he's doing. But yeah, I think honestly this card is it gonna be a must buy? I think you can skip it. I don't want to downplay the card because I do think it'll be really, really good. But this is a card you're probably going to want to have in a sense of like how Nico was, right? Where Nico, you've seen a lot of times whenever you're just building decks or just seen a lot of decks, you don't mind throwing a Nico in your deck, right? Now, I think Nico's a bit more better, obviously, because you do have that draw, and I think the draw is probably more likely the best one, and kind of one of the reasons why I use it a little bit. Plus, transforming a card into a demon, for example. Where this one's more of just a good card that you don't mind putting in. So for Herby, for me, I think with the way he had this ability turns out, give 2 cards at each location plus 1 power. That could be kind of crazy, because if you start buffing up the cards that actually want to get buffed up, then we could be doing something crazy. Like, you can think about putting Sebastian Shaw down, and even talking about the next card coming out. They actually really might like this. So yeah, for Herby, I'd say definitely worth buying, but I think you can skip it. This card, though, is crazy. Human Torch, first steps, and I love the fact that when he does get the double power, he does say Flame On. You can probably hear in the background a little bit from the gameplay. But yeah, end of turn, plus 1 power once per game if your side here is full. Double this card's power. Once again, keeping towards that theme of Human Torch doubling like the OG one. However, this time it's a pretty simple one. You just play it down, he buffs himself up every single turn, and then all you gotta do is fill a lane. I think if you get him out on turn 3, then goes to 3-3, 4-4, or 3-4, 3-5, 3-6, and then doubles in the final turn. So he does go towards either like a 3-11 or like a 3-12, which is just insane just to get down on curve. But of course, the reason why this guy is definitely a must buy that I think everyone should be buying it, I think so, is because of Human Torch and obviously Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer is a free cost card. He wants to get buffed up, and the fact that it does work at the end of the turn, it does mean on the final turn you can just play Silver Surfer in his lane, for example, to fill up the lane. Maybe even play a Brood, but I mean, it might be overkill. But typically Silver Surfer decks can fill up 2 lanes almost guaranteed, and then get the pop off because you'll get the buff up on Silver Surfer, and then Human Torch just get double at the end of the turn. Best part is, depending on how high he does get, it's not Shang-Chi-able, because if you're doing at the end of the game or at the end of turn 6, if he's like 9 power, you can't Shang-Chi, and then boom, the game ends. He then doubles his power. Honestly, I'm not really a big fan of Silver Surfer decks. I don't really like using too much, but now with this, I'm a little bit more tempted. And actually, I think I actually want to start trying Silver Surfer decks, especially with the next card coming on next season for the premium season pass card. We have the female Silver Surfer from First Steps. She's gonna be activated on reveal like twice if you're winning the location for like the first time, and that might work really well with the new other Silver Surfer. So yeah, like Silver Surfer's getting some love here. This one's a no-brainer. If you like Silver Surfer, buy this card. The Thing is finally good in the game. End of turn, plus 2 power once per game like Johnny. If your side of the location is full, destroy enemy card with less power. So assumingly you don't buff him up with like Mr. Fantastic or any other card buffers, then he will go towards a 5-10 at the end of the game, where assumingly you're going to fill up the location and then destroy a lesser power card, which I will say, I think people are downplaying a little bit. I know there's a lot of times because I'm kind of comparing a little bit towards Spider-Man 2029, but I would say, well, at least when that card came out, granted he's gone through some changes, Spider-Man 2029 wasn't great, but there have been times where you don't really care about what you destroy. Yes, destroying a big card to win a game is just like insane. You're chuffed for it, right? But even destroying a 4-cost card, he's now a 5-14. That's pretty powerful. Obviously, you do have to have that requirement of fin the location. So if you are playing on turn 5, then you have to play something in his lane on turn 6. But you can bring like Movis, for example, just like dragging in a like a Mercury, for example. So I don't think this one is like as plug and play like how we just saw Mr. Fantastic, Herby, and even of course Human Torch in like the Silver Surfer deck. I think this one might be the worst of the season. I don't think this card is worth buying unless you're planning to buy every other card, because I think where this card's going to shine a little bit more is in the end of turn deck, which we're going to cover in a second as well. Once we get towards obviously Invisible Woman and of course the actual Fantastic card, I can see him being a little bit more usable in like certain metas later on, but I think like generally speaking, you can probably skip this one once again unless you're planning to use the end of turn deck Maybe a deck can come out where like you actually don't mind it, because that's definitely been the case with obviously Spider-Man 2029, but even then he gets cut a lot as well. But you know what, he's got some really good animations, so I say must buy if you're planning, or if you just like the thing, if you're planning to use the actual end of turn deck. But I think just like Spider-Man 2029, you might lose a lot of 50-50s with this card, which could be quite annoying. Invisible Woman, unfortunately, is the last card coming out this season, which is kind of meant to kind of bring all the actual end of turn cards together, because what she does do is 3-5. Actually, she got buffed up. Wow. I swear she was a 3-4 before. But yeah, activate this turn, your end ability to happen twice. And if you look at all of the end of turn cards outside of the Fantastic Four cards, these are the ones that work with it. So of course, High Evolutionary, which I've not actually shown here, is going to be absolutely crazy, right? Because they do show in the gameplay that Sunspot does work, where he does gain the energy that you skip and gains it again. So if you do that, like what I'm thinking, right, is like you do like Lunar Snow on like 3, play obviously the Invisible Woman on 4, then on turn 5 you just skip with 6 energy. Your Infinite you can play She-Hulk, you can then play Sunspot, well not play Sunspot, so assuming the Sunspot's already down, you're gaining 12 energy just off that card alone. Insane. And then also, if you haven't had Bruce to activate, you can then obviously use that end of turn ability twice, which might give you a better chance of hulking out. And then once again, that is going to give you a 2-12, a 1-12, assuming you haven't skipped energy beforehand. You can also bring Cyclops, which is going to minus the power on the same lane twice, and they'll go off twice as well, which is yeah, that is absolutely crazy. I'm glad that really works. So yeah, outside of like the high evolutionary decks a little bit, just if you're talking about what we just said, where we're going to get extra point of power on obviously, or extra 2 points of power on the thing, which could be a bad thing because he does get over 10 and he's on the final turn, then that won't be that good, because you might just get Shang-Chi'd. Do know that it doesn't destroy the card twice, it's just gaining the points of power. And of course, Human Torch will gain 1 extra point of power, which is technically 2 because you're going to double it. Mr. Fantastic, you probably likely don't want to do on the final turn if you are planning to use him, probably like turn 5, for example. Once again, getting a minus cost or plus 2 power again on another card could be really good too. And like I said, like Sunspot, for example, is going to be absolutely crazy. So we're definitely like, I can't wait for that combo. I think looking at cards coming in the future, I don't think there's that many end of turn cards coming. So I would say if you do get this card, it is not really going to get that many buffs in terms of like card synergy stuff. Maybe you'll get stuff that's not related to end of turn, but will buff the deck up. We'll have to wait and see how that actually works out. But generally speaking, this card, if you are planning to use like the full Fantastic Four team, which you might want to be doing because of why wouldn't you use Fantastic Four cards, then yes, you are going to be needing this card as well. Alongside, if you really like High Evolutionary, Bruce Banner, Sunspot stuff, and She-Hulk, like how I do, definitely a must buy. So if you care about those type of archetypes and those type of cards, then yeah, pick this card up. If you don't, then well, you could probably skip, because I still feel like once again, if you can just use Fantastic by himself, and you're probably not going to be using this card with Human Torch, because it's only going to buff this card. But then moving on towards the controversial one. So we have a 4/7 Fantastic card. Give it your end of turn cards a +2. Gonna go back to what we just said here. Thing is going to get +2 power. He's going to get more plus power. Mr. Fantastic is going to get +2 power as well. And all these cards too are going to get even more plus power. And remember, Bruce, for example, does keep the plus power now, which is really good. I mean, even Hydra Bob's now a 1/6. And his card's already like a 4/7. Like, the reason why we love using like Fanfi like move deck, because she's a pretty good body. And you give him +2 towards a lot of cards, which is like just every card on the board, which is absolutely crazy. You can do it on the final turn, because this will proc at the start of the final turn. And then obviously, at the end of the game, you'll then get the buffs again, or the end of turn with your Fantastic Four cards like Human Torch, or obviously Thing to buff up or destroy cards, which is going to be crazy. But yeah, unfortunately, this, from the looks of it, is going to be a premium season pass card. We have to buy the season pass card, which is Mr. Fantastic, plus I think like the £5 or like $10 on top of it to get this card too, which, or if you want to wait 1 more month to then pick him up in the Series 4 card when he does go, or when it does go towards the Series 4 card pool, just like Mr. Fantastic in Series 5, you can then pick up for 3k tokens. Do you remember? Once again, the Fantastic Four deck isn't going to be real until we get all the cards, more notably towards obviously Mr. or Invisible Woman, right? And 1 week later, this card is then going to go towards the pool. So I don't think you need to buy this one, because you want to run like a full end of turn deck, which you're not going to really do properly until you do get this card, because you want to activate your end of turn twice, right? Like, we can try the decks we were going to use with Invisible Woman, but it's going to get notably a lot better when you can proc, you know, Bruce Banner twice, when you can proc your Sunspot twice. So yeah, I think KM Biff was saying it. At least in this situation, it's not the worst thing in the world. You do have to wait 1 more month, because the card might not be that usable until the week prior when we do get the Invisible Woman. So I will say, once again, if you plan to use the Fantastic Four cards or the end of turn deck like how I am, then of course this is a must buy. But not in the sense of buying it through the battle pass. I think Like, I will do it, but I'm probably not going to bother using the card that much until we get all the pieces for it, which will be like a week after everyone else. Then we get Mole Man, banish the top card of your deck, add 2 rocks to your hand, set the power equal towards the banished card's cost, not power. I think I was confused last time what that actually meant. But yeah, this card is it going to be good? I don't know. If you get, like, obviously, like, just run the 6 cards that you want to obviously banish. It is banished too. It's not destroy, so there's no way to actually return, at least for now. But this card will be somewhat usable probably. If you're doing, like, Patriot stuff, you can just, I guess, banish a big cost card and then play the big cost card. I don't really have too much to say about this one. Series 4 cards are kind of weird a little bit because they're not really meant to be like top tier broken. They're meant to be like, okay, you probably can use them in a certain deck, but I'd say probably skip this one. I don't think you would need this one. And then also the same with Mad Thinker. At the start of each turn after drawing, +2 power if your hand is full. Maybe you could do something a little bit like a clear deck or like a murder deck because there have been times where my hands have been full. But to really build around it is a little bit quite annoying because then you can't play your spells a little bit. Okay, you can play a spell plus drawing a card, so you can do it a little bit. But I don't know, I wouldn't bother. If a deck comes out where you really like the playstyle and cards, then yeah, go for it. But off the top of my head, I don't think you need to buy these cards. And that's just kind of how Series 4 cards are, kind of in general speaking. I guess outside of Mercury and like Batroc, where like they absolutely just break a deck a little bit. These cards aren't really doing that. They're definitely usable and you can make some sort of like deck with it. And we'll probably do it on the channel, making some funny content with them. But I don't think they're gonna like, yeah, must buy. Then we get the Grand Arena, which looks absolutely crazy. I love the artwork and the style of this a little bit too. It feels like much more effort is going towards this one. The inner shop, which of course they don't show you. I don't think we even know what card's in there. There will be a card there. Hopefully not Series 5 card, because then yikes, that'll be a discount, not an actual free card. You do have tickets, and you do have 3 new arena tickets every, well, this is hour, but it might be every few hours, like how we have something showdown in a sense. So you can't just like play it every single time. I assume once you win, you probably likely keep the actual cost. You probably keep your actual ticket, for example. But it looks pretty sick, though, because you have one, like, new artwork of all the cards. So you can see Mr. Fantastic's got, like, a special one. You can see Invisible Woman, Human Torch. Which, these cards, from the looks of it, hopefully you can buy them. So you can actually use them in the actual, like normal game, which would be pretty sick, because I kind of want to use this stuff. But these are the OG Fantastic Four cards, not the new ones. I guess apart from Herby. There's also Dr. Doom, Herby, Mole Man, and Carnage. Sure. Oh, so I think they're all inked, or just because you don't own them. Oh, they all come like matching, which is kind of sick. Okay, so you just have black background. Is that meant to be like that? You have the rock one because the Mole Man, kind of cool actually. And then Carnage is all should be red, I guess. I mean, you get the red border. I do like that because you can totally test cards you don't have, like Kid Omega. No one has him, so you can actually test them out a little bit here. But these are pre-built. It looks like you can just do a custom deck too if you want to, which is quite nice. And depending on what you pick, your champion is going to get a spell. So you can see right here, activate or executes all 4 of Herby's abilities. So what we just talked about earlier on about doubling his power, give him +1 card or +1 power towards 2 cards at each location, give him +2 energy, and adding a rope grip for 4 energy or 4 power. He's doing all of that on the spell. You have the Council of Reed, which is so sick as well. Is that the... That's like the Rivals character. On reveal, banish this to move your champion here, so you'll move the actual Carnage and repeat the on reveal ability again. I think it was meant to be a Venom one, I think, right? But I don't think he's here. So you see a little bit right how it looks. So you do have to actually move it, but you can just reactivate it, basically. And it's like normal Fantastic. So yeah, guys, thank you for watching this video. Let me know if you're picking up any cards and what you plan to do this season. We're definitely going to be picking up all of them, but I'm definitely looking forward to using Mr. Fantastic. He's my main Rivals. I can't wait to use him in game. Plus, he's really cool backgrounds too. So guys, thank you for watching, and yeah.